There is something special brewing in Utah because if anybody knows how to rebuild a team, it's Danny Ainge, and he has got himself a squad here. Of course, he's got his guy, Lauri Markennen. That's the guy he wants to build this team around, but he went out and won this year's draft, bringing in Walter Clayton and Ace Bailey, and we saw it last night in the preseason. He had a pretty solid draft the year before, going out and get a home run pick in Cody Williams. If it pays off, he's going to look like a genius. And then also getting Isaiah Collier and Kel Filipowski at the end of the first and beginning of the second. And then just a bunch of other young guys like Walker Kessler, Keontae George, Bryce Sensabaugh. They're building this squad around. Something special is being built in Utah. And there was a reason I had Ace Bailey ranked as my number 2 player in the pre-draft process. The dude has so much talent, it's ridiculous. I mean, he really is he was listed at 6'9". Now it came out that he's closer to 6'7" without shoes on, but with around a 7-foot wingspan. And as a guy that can just score the basketball, that is really nice to see, right? 17.6 points a game last year at Rutgers, 7.2 rebounds, shot 46% from the field and 35% from 3 on 4.5 attempts per game. And he fell to 5 in the draft somehow. The Jazz were lucky enough to scoop him up, and he has been hooping. He gets a really nice extra pass right here from Walter Clayton, knocks down the 3 ball. The jumper, it looks pure, and I'm really excited for a full year of Ace Bailey getting right to the rim. And yeah, he definitely looks more like 6'7" than 6'9" out there, but he finished with 20.7 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal in 38 minutes on 8 of 13 shooting from the field, 2 of 5 from beyond the arc. So definitely a good night. Now he's coming off the pin down, little step back into a 3 ball, and hey, if he's knocking down the 3 ball at a consistent rate, then he is going to have a really good chance to win Rookie of the Year this year. And then just getting to his spot off the spin, that is such a tough mid-range jumper. And the other guy they drafted, he's not bad either, right? Walter Clayton. Between Clayton and Ace, this is probably going to end up being the best draft class in this year's draft. Walter Clayton is just a big shot maker, and that's really all there is to it. 18.3 points a game, 4.2 assists, 3.7 rebounds, shot 45% from the field and 39% from 3 last year at Florida, which when you look at the degree of difficulty on his shots is really, really impressive. Here he is coming off the screen, little zone action from the Spurs, and he's just going to get right to his spot and step into a 3 with confidence and knock it down. Finished with 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 stocks in 30 minutes. Shot 6 of 12 from the field and 2 of 7 from beyond the arc. So expect that 3-point percentage to continue to rise. Again, I said I love the unselfishness right here from Walter Clayton Jr., giving the extra pass out to the corner to get Ace Bailey going. Remember, he is a point guard after all, even though he's really could be more of a combo guard. And then get up, young man, right here with the big time jam with 26 seconds left. That's nice. He's got some sneaky athleticism to him, and then getting the layup to go here in overtime. Walter Clayton, I'm really excited for. He played his way into the first round, and he definitely earned being a first-round pick. Could have even been a lottery pick. So the 2 rookies are going to be elite. Looking at last year's class as well, we only got to see one of these 3 guys play last night, and that was Cody Williams. And I've said it before, Cody Williams would be the reason that I get fired as an NBA GM, because I would have taken him much higher than number 10 last year. I mean, we're talking about a 6'8" guy with a 7'1" wingspan, and it's way too early to give up on him. That's for sure. It's still a very young guy at this point in his career, but I mean, he averaged 4.6 points, 2.3 rebounds, and 1.2 assists in 21 minutes as a rookie, shooting 32% from the field and 26% from 3. That is egregious for anybody, especially the 10th overall pick, who you had really high hopes for. And, you know, a lot of it is because of his build, and you can say he kind of gets pushed around out there. He's not quite ready for the NBA game. He was only 190 pounds last year at 6'8", but we've seen his brother have great success at the NBA level. I'm not ready to give up on Cody Williams yet. I think he can continue to be good. The jump shot's a little bit slow, but hey, at 6'8", you can afford that, right? They invested a lot of draft capital in him. He finished with 12 points, 4 boards, and 2 assists last night on 4 of 8 shooting from the field, 1 of 3 from beyond the arc. So that is bang on average right there, and you can build off of that, right, going into the future and into the regular season. Now, Isaiah Collier was the 29th overall pick in the draft a couple of years ago. He's coming off a rookie season where he was actually pretty good, and I had him ranked pretty high in my pre-draft process. He finished with 8.7 points a game, 6.3 rebounds, and about 3 assists, or 6.3 assists, and about 3 rebounds. Shot 42% from the field. The 3-point percentage will need to improve, but he was a very nice surprise for the Jazz last year. I think the three-point percentage will improve, but he's a big body guard, right? He's got really broad shoulders, so he can dictate the pace of play whenever he's got the ball in his hands at 6'4" with a 6'5" wingspan, so he's probably going to be more of a true PG, but he can play a little bit of the two as well, and he shot 34% from three in college, so I'm expecting that three-point percentage to go up this year, and I'm honestly expecting a pretty solid year from Isaiah Collier, as well as Kyle Filipowski, who absolutely dominated the Summer League. I think he's going to be a really nice bench piece for this Jazz squad. Remember, he was the Summer League MVP, like I said, and will be just 22 years old. He's going to be a guy that you need to watch here in Utah because he's coming off a year averaging almost 10 a game with 6 rebounds as a rookie in 21 minutes a night. Shot 50% from the field and 35% from 3-on-3 attempts. Really one of the more underrated rookies. And then in the Summer League, averaged dang near 30 a game, which is extremely impressive for anybody, much less a power forward who was really more of an interior scorer last year. So definitely somebody you can build off of. They had their core of 27-year-olds last year. Danny Ainge decided to trade 2 of them, but of course he kept his guy in Lauri Markennen, who he refuses to give up unless there is an absolute king's ransom sent back to Utah in exchange for the 6'11" wing. I guess he's a power forward, but he honestly plays more like a wing most of the time, coming off of down screens here and getting into a 3-ball, knocking it down. Averaged 19 a game last year with 6 boards and assists and a half in just 31 minutes, so he didn't quite get the minutes per game he should have if he was on a contending team. 42% from the field, 35% from 3, but again, I feel like that's a lot of the reason is because he was kind of in and out of the lineup, as the Jazz weren't really trying to win games, and that was pretty apparent last year. But I think this year they're ready to go ahead and try to take that leap and try to start winning some games in what will be an extremely competitive Western Conference. You also have Walker Kessler here, who's going to be holding things down in the paint. He will be 24 years old, so still pretty young, but he's old enough to have a lot of experience. 11 points a game, 12 rebounds, 1.7 assists, and 2.4 blocks in 30 minutes a night last year as the starter for the Jazz. And as a rim protecting big, he's more than serviceable. Now, he doesn't have much of an outside shot. Maybe that can be developed, but I guess you could throw in Filipowski, and that's where you get your outside shot from, marketing guys like that. Now, Keontae George had a pretty solid night, and we'll see. He can still probably fit into this future for the Jazz. He'll be just 22, and he's coming off a year averaging 17 and 6, albeit the efficiency was terrible. And that's always been the knock on Keontae George. His efficiency just hasn't been there throughout the course of his career, but he's operating the pick and roll right here, finding Jusuf Nurkic, and then knocking down this 3-ball here over Devin Vassell, and that's a tough shot to hit, especially over a guy like Vassell. Then coming off the screen, once again, navigating this pick and roll, getting to the rim. He finished with 12 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, and a steal in 35 minutes. That's a really solid stat line. 4 of 11 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3. So again, the inefficiency starting to rear its ugly head, but I mean, he was good enough. That's a really tough shot there with 4 seconds left to send this game into OT, and then getting downhill in OT and getting a nice layup to go to still give them a chance to come back and win that game. And then finally, the last member of this Jazz team, or a couple more actually, they got Bryce Sensabaugh, who last night went off. He finished with 26 points, 2 assists, a rebound, and a steal. Pretty much just out there to score, but 26 points in 27 minutes is not bad whatsoever. And last year in the regular season for the Jazz was really good. Shot 46% from the field, 42% from 3 on 5.2 attempts a game. Definitely expect Bryce Sensabaugh to have a big-time role with the Jazz this year. They just got a bunch of dudes. They're really young. They followed kind of the Thunder mold for going out and rebuilding a squad. Of course, Danny Ainge knows how to get things done, and they just got a ton of depth. Taylor Hendricks as well, a guy that we really didn't get to see last year. I thought was going to have a big-time breakout year. Didn't, because he got injured, but maybe this year is the year. He looked pretty solid last night against the San Antonio Spurs, or a couple nights now. We're getting downhill off this down screen, going up top, and finishing with the big-time jam. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like button. Leave me a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy at any point. With that being said, thanks so much for watching today's video.